Yeah. Yeah. Mic check 1 2.
We live.
Smooth.
Welcome to the CJ Moneyway Show.
Powered by the Blosdale Network. You know what this is? The podcast where we uncover the strategies behind success, resilience, and legacy.
Real talk.
I'm your host.
CJ Moneyway.
Today, we got a powerhouse in the building. Bringing media, the one and only, Christen and Blosdale.
Let's go.
She's a business media coach, founder of ExpertAuthorityCoach.com,
Check the resume.
and the best-selling author of the Social Media and Branding Survivor Guide. We talking over 25 years in the game, from working with industry giants like AOL and Microsoft, to helping entrepreneurs master their message and own their spotlight.
That's right.
Fresh off the press, she was recently named the 2025 Women Podcasters Award winner for best testing.
Give her flowers.
Today we're diving into a playbook for building expert authority, how to ditch that imposter syndrome, elevate your online presence, and build a brand that truly connects with real people.
That's the goal.
Christine, let's get into it.
Welcome to the CJ Moneyway Show. With her.
What's up, my good people? Welcome to the CJ Moneyway Show, powered by Blosdale Network, the podcast where we uncover the strategies behind success, resilience, and legacy. I'm your host, CJ Moneyway, and today's guest is a powerhouse in branding and media, and she's going to give me a call because I want to learn what my girl Christine do. She's a business media coach, founder at ExpertAuthorityCoach.com, and the best-selling author of the Social Media and Branding Survival Guide. Christine's journey spans 25 plus years from working with giants like AOL and Microsoft to helping entrepreneurs master their message and their spotlight. She was recently named 2025 Women Podcaster Award for Best Broadcaster. Hey, congratulations. Congratulations. Today we're diving deep into her playbook for building expert authority, how to ditch imposter syndrome, elevate your online presence, and build a brand that connects with real people. Hey, welcome to the show today, my girl Christine. Hey, how you doing, Christine?
Thank you, man. I sound really good. Damn.
you are. You are.
Hire myself.
And congratulations on the award. Before I even ask you a question, tell me about that. How did it feel? You know, it's like being in the podcasting industry as well. We're dealing with a lot of people. You know, you be yourself. You're going to do what you do and let things happen the way it happened. But to rise up and to be recognized as the best women's podcast broadcaster out there, millions of podcasts out there, I just be 100% transparent with me. How does that feel?
It feels as good as knowing how many years it took me to get there and how many, 20 years at a radio station, on-air host and producer. So the microphone is something I'm very familiar with. All of my publicity shots, I'm wearing headphones and a microphone. So I feel very comfortable in front of the audio equipment that we live with as podcasters. But also I pay homage to the people who try to create a podcast and they actually quit, only a few episodes in, maybe 7. I think it's on average like 7 or 8 episodes, and people, they stop. And I just want to encourage your audience, if they've been thinking about it, one of the tools that I have for my clients to show their expert authority is to create a podcast. And I want to encourage them to do that if they feel that pull, that excitement about having a podcast. It's one of the greatest marketing tools you can have, but also it's a way to share your wisdom and your gifts with the world, and your audience, your tribe is out there. You just need to be consistent with it.
Yeah, consistent, and that's the big thing. I want to give a shout out to Podmatch, because Alex was the first one that really gave me the email. It's like, CJ, many podcasters don't go past X amount of podcast shows. And, since I had did like 15 or something at the time, want you to take a test and this and that and see where you are. And man, just from that, I just start getting connections and it just branded off to other things. Matter of fact, from where you from, Los Angeles, Cam Rogers, shout out to Cam from Believe Network, had reached out to me, wanted me to come on a network. And, I was thrilled. I was shocked, Christine. I'm like, here I am doing a podcast in my garage and somebody 1,000 miles away wanting me to be on their on their podcast network. And we already know what that is. At least you get a little bit of money. We ain't going to talk figures, but it is. Hey, but podcasting is a good, a good outlet if you, just want to share your expertise with people or, if you just want to bring on great guests like I have today. We ain't going to call her the Woman's Podcast Award winner. We going to call her the 2025 Woman of the Year because it's the CJ Moneyway Show, and we can do that. Hey, so Christine, let me ask you. Expert, authority, and branding. As I said in the intro, you work for giants like AOL and Microsoft. What did those early years teach you about branding at the highest level?
I had a editor at America Online. I wrote an entertainment column for them and asked the editor one day, I said, so who's my demographic? Who am I writing for? Can you give me an idea? And he looked at me and he goes, this is America Online, Christine. He goes, you need to write for the age group of 8 to 80. And I was like, what? Really? Okay. And what it did is it actually forced me to communicate in such a way that was still my personality and my character, but also to really focus in on being extremely clear. And it was before the times of Shrek, but it was Shrek-like. In other words, kids could kind of get excited about the content, but also adults got that little cheeky, that's okay. So it was being able to communicate in such a way that a wide audience appreciated it, right? Now, I wrote through a cartoon character about that. I didn't write through Christine. I wrote through Beatbox Betty. And Beatbox Betty, trust me, I do not know how to beatbox. Everybody asked me that. But Beatbox Betty was this cartoon that was drawn from the animator of Eon Flux. I don't know if you remember that from MTV. Eon Flux was a very like a assassin, a very sexy drawn assassin. Well, Beatbox Betty was like this martini toting, little buzzed all the time, anatomically incorrect, drawn Hollywood sort of Hedda Hopper character. And so it was brutally honest. So I got to write reviews for films that were really brutally honest. And if I loved it, I loved it. And if I didn't, I just let it be known. So it was a great deal of freedom. And in my joy and my freedom, I think that was contagious. And just like we were just talking, I was talking about your energy. Your imprint is your brand, your voice, your enthusiasm. And that is going to take you places way further than all of the degrees, all of the certifications, all of those different things. So when it comes to branding and when it comes to knowing, it's how we communicate, right? And just your energy, just your vibe, that comes in through the door before you even walk through it. Okay. And that's what we want to focus in on. That's what I do with all of my clients. Some clients I have are authors and they're very quiet and they're very brainy, people.
Yeah.
So we have a different strategy for those folks, right? But then we've got the people who really want to help others and their coaches. And my job is to help them get seen and heard. Because if you're not seen and heard, you're not hired.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Yeah. And that's, like you said, that's one thing that I do want to work on. Sometimes you kind of like cover yourself up. Like you said, when you first went to the radio station, I don't want to get behind that mic and start talking, and, like getting to speaking gigs and stuff like that. You picture yourself doing it. Then sometimes I don't know, just fear, you know what I'm saying? Like, how would I really, but I already know it's me because I'm built for certain things. I'm ready, Christine, and that's why I want to do with you.
I know.
I'm ready. Yeah, I'm just ready to.
Don't let that imposter syndrome stop you.
Exactly. We're gonna talk about that imposter syndrome. And so, but I do got to ask you this though, because I heard what you said. You said that you were doing columns, writing reviews and things of that nature. You did Beatbox Betty, and Beatbox Betty had martinis. But then you asked the guy, you say, well, what age group, what demographic am I? He said 8 to 80. So, Christine, let me just ask you this.
Yes.
So are you telling me that you was promoting Beatbox Betty with some martinis in her hand to these little young kids? What was you teaching them, Christine? How to drink martinis at an early age? What's going on?
This is back in the day. This is back in the day when AOL just started. Nobody cared about that stuff. Nobody cared.
Oh my God, Christine teaching these kids how to get drunk. I can't believe it.
She never was encouraging people to get drunk.
I'm messing with you.
I saw worse things in the 70s with my parents, and they're, oh, come on now.
Hey, yeah, I know about Hugh Hefner. I might have seen some of the magazines around somewhere. I ain't gonna say nothing. No, it is what it is. Hey, so
they be on the coffee table.
Nah, it was a little more discreet than that. You had to find them, but they was there.
Okay.
My mother was there, so I couldn't be in the bathroom. But they was somewhere. They was hidden, but me being the little sneaky kid that I was, a little promiscuous and curious, I found everything. Even my Christmas toys that they would try to hide during Christmas when they was telling me that there was a Santa Claus. I'm like, there's no Santa Claus. I see my train track downstairs under the stairway. Anyway, so let me ask you, Christine, what inspired you to write the social media and branding survival guide? And why is the playful subtitle so irresistible? Even your ex will want to follow you. I'm curious.
Okay, so I have 5 best-selling books that I've created, right? But most of them, all of the ones before this book, were all about podcasting. How to use a podcast as a host to create your brand and to market your business. And then I had another book about how to be a guest on podcasts. What's one of the best things in the world to be a guest on somebody's show? Like I'm a guest right now on CJ's show, right? Mm-hmm. I get to meet this man. Who knows what we can do after this together, right? So it's a great opportunity for you to reach audiences too you'll never reach. So I wrote all those books about podcasting, and then I actually took my own advice. As an expert authority coach, I tell my clients, you need to focus on what your potential clients or clients actually need and want, not what you want to give them. And that usually a light bulb will come off when people, and they'll go, oh, wait a second. So what was happening was that during COVID, my bread and butter, man, I was making good money showing people how to create a podcast, showing them how to be a guest on podcast. It was all podcast. And then shortly after that, it was like stuff started to slow down a little bit. And I was like scratching my head going, you know what? I actually pulled back and I said, what is it my clients actually need? Not everybody needs a podcast.
Yeah.
Not everybody needs to be a guest on a podcast, but a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of my clients are women in business, coaches, authors. They need help on their branding. They need help on their social media. They need help on nailing down their message, right? They need help nailing down their offers, who they are, what they do, and how they help people. So that's when I decided I'm going to write a book that actually people want and that they need. So the social media and branding survival guide, I was very excited about writing that because I was actually helping people. Now, knowing me and my personality, I'm not a dry corporate suited up, so-and-so. I am simple. I am funny. I like to have fun with my clients. I like to have fun in life. I like things easy and simple. So that's why the subtitle is Digital Marketing So Irresistible, Even Your Ex Will Want to Follow You. And I crossed out the X. I just kind of... because we want to be so badass that even our ex is going to go, let's just see what this person is doing. Yeah. They're winning Broadcaster of the Year award. What's going on, right? Yeah. CJ, he's got a podcast. What's he doing over there? That's what we want. And it's tongue in cheek, obviously. We don't want any stalkers, okay? No.
Yeah, like you said, I was stalking you earlier. Now we don't want that, but I'm still gonna stalk you even more.
Oh, that's okay.
So Christine, let me ask you this. For first, congratulations, 5-time award bestseller. Man, that's awesome. I wrote one book and couldn't get anyway.
You got books in you. You still got a whole bunch of books in you.
That's what I was just gonna ask you. See, I want to do a podcast book. And it's on my heart. You know what I'm saying? I got it laid out. Matter of fact, I think I've already started outlining this stuff. It's called Locked In and Mic'd Up, the makings of a podcast.
Oh,
and so
I like it.
Let's work on it. Let's make that happen.
We'll talk. We'll talk. Because I have some secret tips for you on getting to bestseller status.
Yeah, that's talk. You know what I'm saying? Because I told you, you know what I'm saying? Because if you're going to work with somebody that got a proven method. This lady just told all of us that she has 5 best-selling books out there. So I want to get with the person that's out there actually doing it. And she told me I could sell baseball hats. Hey, so let me ask you, Christine. You talked a lot about the Expert Authority Playbook. What are a few do's and don'ts every entrepreneur should know about building credibility today?
We need to start doing those things that reinforce our expert authority. So that's why the importance of writing that book, right? Mm-hmm. And if you specialize in whatever it is you specialize in, if you're a fitness coach or you're a podcaster and you're super excited and passionate about it, I highly encourage you to create that book. And there are ways that you can do strategies so that you can reach that bestseller status, right? Mm-hmm. And having that in your media kit, on your website, it elevates you. The same thing with having a particular title. So you might be a life coach or a fitness coach or a podcaster, but if you have a title that you can hone in and create that gives the audience, the public, an idea of what you do, that's gold. And then if you can trademark it, because that little TM tells people that you're professional, that you spent the time, energy, money, doesn't cost a lot, by the way, but it's telling people that you're a serious person. And your expert authority goes up. Same thing with being seen and being heard is what I was talking about. If you're not seen and heard, you're not hired. So that means doing public appearances, doing workshops and webinars and free masterclasses so that you're out there, right? Social media is really important, but if you don't have your messaging down or your brand or what you actually do clear, all the social media posts and videos you do are not going to hit. So you really need to focus in on that. Those are the do's, like those some of the do's that you want to do. do. The things that you don't want to do is you don't want to be confusing. You don't want to have a website that is just gabs of text, lots of copy, no images of you, and no video of you. We're a video society. We're very short attention span too. So they need to be short, sharp. But if you go to my website, which is expertauthoritycoach.com, immediately is a video that starts playing. And immediately I'm telling you what I can do for you. Right? You don't got to read it. You don't have to dig in and find the words. I'm telling you what I can do for you. I'm also showing you in the video people of all different ages and ethnicities and different backgrounds so that you get right away, that my clientele, the people that I work with, are people from all over the world, right? You get it right away. Now, just reading dry copy, you wouldn't get that. You wouldn't know my personality either because you don't hear me when you're reading. So that's something that I find is a lot of times people's websites just do not convey who they are. Another boo-boo that people do is they don't have a professional headshot. You need to invest in a professional headshot. You might take great selfies, at the beach or something like that. And that's cool. But you really want to have that money shot, that shot that you like. I could put that on the back of a book, or I could put that, plaster it on front of my website. That is something that's really valuable and a lot of people don't do. And I would say that for your expert authority. It tells people that you're professional, that you considered enough to take that. There's other things that people do. They let imposter syndrome stop them. They worry about what other people think. What are people going to think? If I didn't get on the microphone that day because I was worried about what are people going to say? What if I mess up?
Mm-hmm.
Right? There's thousands, tens of thousands, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of people listening. What if I mess up? You can't let that stop you because so many dreams have been completely dashed because people were worried about what other people were going to think, or they I might look stupid or I might look dumb. Don't let that stop you. Please. That's just some of this stuff. I'm going to get all crying now.
Man, and I thank you for that, because like I said, I'm listening because just recently, like I got a website, it's through this one place, and I've been paying all this time that I had this website for like a consultation call, like once a month. But I had never did it. You know what I'm saying? I had never did it, but I had been paying for this service, thinking like, okay, one day I'll do it. And so I finally started doing it about a couple months ago. And man, they can implement so many more things, you know what I'm saying? Like she's like, well, we can do this, that, and they show you on. I'm like, okay, I like that. So I'm trying to build it now, you know what I'm saying? I'm a year and a half behind on that because I really, like you telling me how important it is. I knew that it was important. But some, a lot of times when you're doing things by yourself, like you say, social media, you got this, you got that. People don't know. And that's why I want to do this book. People don't know how much it takes just to release one episode. All the things that you have to do, just to release one episode of a podcast, and I release 2 a week, I release 2 a week.
That just gave me chills.
and working a full-time job, so I thank God for the strength, to be able to do what I'm doing. So yeah, we definitely got to talk, Christine. So let me ask you this: overcoming barriers, as you just said, and I admitted that was me. Oh, before I go there, you said something that I thought about. I'm in this 21-day challenge. 1%ers, with Eric Thomas right now. And today was day 9. But you said something that made me think about what they say. You say that people will worry about what you think. I mean, people, you worried about what people think, what they going to say and this and that. And so they say the 99%, that's what the 99% worry about, what people going to say or how I'm going to be perceived and this and that. But he say that the 1%, and you're a 1%er, got a different mindset. I don't care what people say. I don't care what people think. I'm just going to, whatever I set out to do, I'm just going to do it. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to do it and see what it works because too many people start stuff and don't finish it. We doing too much. You know what I'm saying? And they say just focus on one thing, focus on that one thing and just finish it and then move on. So I'm taking that advice. I'm taking your advice. And so let's get to this question right here, Christine. Imposter syndrome stops so many talented people from showing up. How do you coach someone to push past that fear and own their own authority?
Yeah. So first of all, I want to say that all types of people suffer from imposter syndrome. So if you're listening to this and you're like, oh, that's me, it goes across all socioeconomic areas. It's a lot of time overachievers, right? So people who have all the degrees, they're doctors, they're high pressure, businesses, they've achieved a lot and they will get imposter syndrome. They'll feel that ickiness come up from time to time. Most of the time it happens when we are to do something we're not familiar with or something that we're intimidated by or we have to stretch. So it could be maybe you're put up for a promotion at the job and you're like, I don't know if I'm ready or if I'm equipped to do that particular thing. Or it might be somebody asks you to speak at an event and you're like, I don't know if I'm the person that people should be listening to. And what happens is a lot of times the stuff that happened to us when we're little, when we're so open and we're just these little flowers of love, and somebody maybe in a position of authority said something to us off the cuff. Maybe they didn't even mean anything bad by it. It could be a parent, it could be a teacher, or it could even be somebody, a kid in the play box, in the sandbox, who says something to you, and that sticks. And that sticks in our subconscious. And even though we go on and we, become successful, quote unquote, we're making money, we're doing all these things, that little kid, that sandbox who said, "You're stupid," right? With your 3, 4, that will come in when you're pressured and you're not feeling comfortable. So this is how I deal with my clients to help them get over that. First of all, I say this. I say, guess what? It's not about you. And they go, wait a second. I hired you to be my coach, to work on my branding, about me and my expert authority. And I said, yes. Okay. But here's the thing. It's not about you. It's about the people that you say you want to serve. If you focus your attention on the people, let's say you're a fitness coach, if you focus on the clients that you could be helping lower their blood pressure, losing weight, feeling great, living longer to be with their kids and grandkids, if you focus on that and not about how you look or how people are going to perceive you, then it's a whole new game. And if you don't show up because of your fears, because you might look stupid or you might look this or that, if you don't show up, then those people, they lose. They don't get your gifts. They don't get to be inspired by you. So like with CJ, like if you were even having a moment of that doubt, I'd be like, you have to show up, man, because if you don't show up, you're not inspiring all these people. You inspired me when I was listening to your podcast the first 5 minutes. If you didn't show up, you wouldn't be able to touch all those lives, right? The people that you interview, your audience, the kids that are listening to you that you don't even know because you're not getting that feedback. But there's kids that are listening to you go, man, that guy's cool. And do that. So when we focus on others, we tend to step up.
Check out the movement. Family real quick. Lean in. If you're listening to this right now, then you already know the Moneyway ain't just a podcast. It's a movement. So make sure you tap into everything we building. It's a Moneyway moving music. New tracks dropping every week. It's the CJ Moneyway Show. Global ranked, purpose-driven voices. Moneyway mindset. Daily inspiration. Real talk, no fluff. You can find it all right now on Instagram, YouTube, and everywhere you stream. Just search out some Moneyway. That's where purpose lives. That's where the next level starts. And that's where we leveling up. Together. Now let's get back to the show.
And I appreciate you too. Like I say, you've been encouraging me this whole time. I really feel honored, especially somebody with your prestige. But let me say this, Christine, real quick. You said something earlier, about the book. You crossed out the X because you like, how you like me now? You know what I'm saying? Like Kumo D back in the day. How you like me now? Even with teachers, you said something about teachers and people that say something discouraging and stuff, you'll never amount to nothing. You'll never be nothing. And then, so it's like, how you like me now? Yeah, Corey got a book that's been out for 10 years this year. Remember when I was in the first grade, y'all had me in the last reading group, you know what I'm saying? Read Rockets while everybody else was in the big book. I read the little bitty book. How you like me now? I wrote a book. Corey got a podcast, so yeah, you do get that moment. But you did say something to this point, and I'm just going to say this. I'm just going to be brutally honest. You said if you was in the play box, little kid say something to you out the way and say you stupid and this and that. You say that sticks. I tell you this. If somebody said something to me in the play box like back in the day, Christine, they was going to get stuck all right. They was going to get hit in their mouth because CJ didn't play that. Homie don't play that. You know what I'm saying? They knew better than to say something like that with me. And all my peers know that came up with me. And no, I'm not telling the story here on live broadcast because you already know how to hit you dead in your mouth. And so
CJ, I have to tell you something. When I still remember my dad. They had to call my father into school. I was in kindergarten or something, and they had to call my father into school to get me. And he was like, "What's happening? What's going?" And my dad was he's a probation officer. He was a probation officer. He's a big, scary guy. What's going on? And he comes to the classroom, and I'm sitting in a corner, and this other little girl is sitting in the corner. And he's like, "What happened?" And the teacher said, "Your daughter hit this child." And he comes over to me, and he's kind of like, he's trying to pull it together. And he's like, "What happened?" I said, "She hit me in the stomach." And then he goes, "What did you do?" I go, "It was an automatic reflex. I hit her in the nose." So he was a little proud, but also a little like, "That, Christine, you don't do that."
Yeah. That, you know what I'm saying? That's just like, well, I got a 15-year-old, right?
Yeah.
You know, he's not in time with girls and everything, but, you know, sometimes mother may be, you know, this and that. And so something happened one time. Like you said, I was like, "Man, you did this and this and that." But on the other side, good job, son. Proud of you. You make your papa proud. So, Christine, let me ask you, in your experience, why does being authentic outperform flashy tactics when it comes to real digital influence?
We can see it, CJ. We can see it all around us. All right. Look at Hollywood. It's crumbling. The celebrity stuff is crumbling. The music industry, good Lord, it is like
dead.
We are finding out that all that glitters is not gold. And we see it in the political, we see it in Hollywood, in music, in sports. We see it everywhere. And what has happened is that society, you, me, and all the millions of other people that are like on TikTok and everything, we're craving authenticity. We're craving connection. We're craving relatability. And we know now, we can smell it. We can sniff it. Maybe years ago, we were in that Disneyland glaze and we were just anything that like glittered. We were like, oh, you know, Dynasty and, you know, the Kardashians. Now we're like, you know what? I need some real stuff.
Yeah.
And we can smell a lie. We can smell a grifter. We can smell an imposter really easy now. And so those people who are able to be authentically themselves, you know, if you're funny, don't stuff that down because you think, oh, I need to be professional, this, that, and the other. You know what? Be your funny. You can still be funny and be professional. You know, you can be your authentic self. And that's what we want. We don't want somebody who is going to pretend to be something, because when it comes down to it, that you can't also live that. You can't continue that. You can't maintain an unauthentic life or business. So that's the way we're going in 2026. I believe more towards authenticity, more towards realness, and more towards us joining forces, collaborating, helping each other. It used to be go it alone, greed is good, blah. Now it's about helping each other. And it's because we have to. We have to.
We ain't got no choice.
We ain't got no choice.
Ain't got no choice. You know what? Last couple people I've talked to, they've been guys. I'm trying to do something different. I started this month. I got like authors month next month. I'm trying to do theme months, you know, because I got enough people to do author months and doctor months. Like, you know, we interview so many people, like you said earlier, like all individuals. I got, you know, people from Canada. Man, I've interviewed a lot of people from Canada, not Australia, but like Paris or London, people, you know, overseas and things of that nature. So I'm trying to do something different. So one thing I'm trying to do, I'm doing a men's summit this year. I also want to do a women's summit as well. And so I would like for you to come on and share your expertise with some of them.
I'd be honored to.
Okay.
And I got a really good hit off of that too.
Oh yeah?
Like I got like the goosebumps. And I don't market myself as a psychic or anything like that, but I work intuitively. And so when I'm talking to somebody, I know like immediately, like the vibes are good. The energy is good. Not to get like all unicorn woo woo, but when you talked about the summit, especially the men's summit, I got very big goosebumps. We need to help our men. You know, we do. We really need to connect. and to say that they are valued and needed in this world, especially right now. We all need to step up. We all need to step up. We already know that women are extremely powerful. So,
oh man, and, and to be honest with you, Christine, that's what got me into podcasts. Just being drawn. I seen a lot of women empowerment podcasts. Matter of fact, it was around the Me Too movement and things of that nature. You had a lot of women empowerment podcasts and just empowerment, period. But as I was looking around, I'm like, man, it's not a lot of men out here that's, geared towards men. I know you got Shaq and you got all them and Kevin Hart and all them doing podcasts, but at the same time, what are they doing or talking about that's going to edify me? I don't have the celebrity status that they have, nor the money. And so a lot of times you tend to listen to people that talks about their status, you know what I'm saying? Or talk about others, that's on the same status and this and that. But what about the lowly man? What about the everyday man and woman? What about us that's living paycheck to paycheck, but still trying to find a way, to make it and this and that? Who talking to us? And so that was the reason I actually started my podcast. I mean, it took on a life of its own, but that's the reason I wanted to start. And that's one of the seeds that's in me that I won't let go.
No, and that has a power all of its own. And it's so needed. And I can see that book is being written already. The book of yours is already coming together just by us talking here.
And it's going to be a number one bestseller because I'm rolling with Rush. You know what I'm saying? I'm rolling with Chris. I'm rolling with the book hit maker, red carpet, slanger, all of that. I'm rolling with my girl CB. Hey, so let me ask you, Christine, tools and strategies. What's one low-cost or free tool every entrepreneur should use to make a big impact with limited resources?
Okay. So, I use ChatGPT just like millions and millions of other people do. But I actually just invested a little bit of money to do the paid version. It is a fantastic tool. I also created my own plugin for ChatGPT, which is the Expert Authority Coach plugin. So I use my plugin to create stuff that's in my tone, right? That's in my brand. But what I want to encourage people to do is do not let ChatGPT create content for you. Allow it to enhance what you already have. And you have to play with it. You have to prompt it. You have to work with it. The more you work with it, then the more it gets to know your style. It gets to know what is good and what is not, what is acceptable, what is not. So I think ChatGPT, especially for the cost, the pro version of it, is phenomenal. And it's helped me tremendously in so many different ways. Just communicate. Again, I feed it my content and I allow it to massage it and I give it direction. So that's really important. Another thing is, even though I've got all these bestsellers, I'm not a writer per se.
Me neither.
I'm a speaker. I'm a talker. So there's a tool called Video to Blog. And because I've got all these videos of me being on podcast shows, me being creating workshops and webinars and all these speaking things, right? And I have a mastermind as well. So I'm talking constantly. Then I take my videos and I throw them into Video to Blog, and it creates, instead of a transcript, which would be boring as hell to read, it turns it into an enjoyable blog article, listicle, chapter in a book. So the books that I write, right? I don't write that much. I might write the introduction or the foreword, but the content, the chapters in the book are me speaking and taking videos and turning them into beautiful reads. So that's something, it's a very low cost thing to do. I think, I don't even know what the price is, but it's very cheap. So that's a great thing to do. And you can try it out for free, and it's a great tool. So for those of you who are not writers, but you do have some video content, it is a lifesaver.
Yeah, that's me. And man, you hitting on a lot of stuff. I like this plug-in for chat. I gotta see what that is. But $19.99, that's how much it costs for the paid version. And it is awesome.
$20 a month, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
$20 a month.
You would be proud of me, Christine. I'm about to get my certification for an AI program. I just completed an AI program a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, I mean, because once you get into this stuff and see what it can do, you know what I'm saying? It creates wonders, you know what I'm saying? But once you learn how to use it properly, you know what I'm saying? And give it that money. I mean, my chat, it got my money way identity. You know what I'm saying? It knows me by now. Like I could just put in this and then say, okay, we're going to give it the money way style and have it in your tone and in your voice and this and that. But you got to, sometimes, it get frustrated. You be like, hey, chat, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? I did not ask for this.
I'll tell it every now and then. I'll go, you know what? You went a little way overboard on that. I'm not world renowned. Come on.
Yeah, like, come on now. Tone it down a little bit. Or especially if you're doing thumbnails. Now, 2 years in, now I see VQ. That's the best place to do thumbnails. Had the app for about a year and a half. Looked at it, went through the little program, never used it till probably about a month or so ago. Before I go here, I got to tell you something. Because, as a podcaster, we don't get talk to people all the time. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people don't know what actually happened. I had an incident. I had a situation, and I'll share it with you freely. I interviewed this reality TV couple, right? Or they, real estate. I ain't going to say no name. So when the promotion part came out, right? I'm doing these thumbnails. I'm doing what I normally been doing, Christine. And so, I worked like 2 weeks. Matter of fact, I had a sponsorship deal that week on my network. And so, the more impressions and stuff that you get, whatever, you get paid more, this and that. So I put 3 out that week. I put 3 episodes out that week instead of the normal 2. And so, but this one couple, I worked on that for 2 weeks. I wasn't worried about nobody else. I'm like, man, reality show, man, I'm
right.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, I'm excited, that a reality show couple came on my show, this and that. So I started putting the content out. I did the baby characters and everything, you know what I'm saying? The baby talk characters and everything. I was into it, Christine. And so when I put it out, the publicist that reached out to me and sent me an email to say, take it down now, right now, everything. I'm like, whoa.
What?
So,
what? Everything?
Everything. And so
the show itself?
The audio and stuff was good. So we kept the podcast. It was the presentation. You know what I'm saying? It was the presentation. And so at first I was, offended, like, man, I put in all this work and this and that. But then I understood, like with you got a brand to uphold. You know what I'm saying? You got a brand to uphold. And so it just made me say, you know what? Instead of getting mad about it, CJ, you got to step up your game. You know what I'm saying? That's just bottom line. You got to step up your game. So you learn some lessons in this thing. That's for sure.
Yes, you do.
And all of it, he texted me. Matter of fact, he did it twice. 2 days in a row, because I took them down. I thought I had them all down. He texted me, he emailed me again the next day. He said, well, it's still one on Instagram and it's still this and that. I said, you know what? I'm just going to take all of them down. You know what I'm saying? Just keep the audio up. But I'm just going to take everything down. And I ain't going to even try to start from scratch. So that's just how it was. But I like this video, the blog. I'm going to try to check that out. Because somebody just hit me up on LinkedIn the other day and asked me that they see my podcast and they say, CJ, you thought about writing a book, you know what I'm saying, based on your podcast interviews? And I said, you know what? Actually, I am in the process of doing that. That's when I said I'm trying to do one called Locked In and Mic'd Up or whatever. And that's part of that, taking part of the interviews that I do, put them in as chapters and things of that nature. Yeah, so you just confirmed what somebody else just came to me the other day about. So I appreciate it. So let me ask you, Christine. How can podcasting, as saying you talked about it earlier, but I want you to get a little more in depth on it for me. Whether a host or a guest, how can it become a game changer for brand awareness and business growth?
Well, as you are a perfect example that if you have your own podcast, you have a platform that you can show your personality. You can meet amazing people. You also, if there's people out there that you would like to work with, that you want to collaborate with, you can actually invite them to be on your show, especially if your show's been up and running for a while. Very few people will say no to being promoted and featured on a podcast show. Very few. So your chances of at least meeting that person. So it's a great tool for networking and collaborating as well. But also your SEO goes through the roof because you've got show notes, you've got stuff on YouTube, you're Googleable, but more importantly, ChatGPT-able. More and more people are actually doing searches using ChatGPT than Google. So you want to be able to show up on those places. And that's why having your own podcast is a great thing. But also for the repurposing, like just we were talking about. You can repurpose those episodes as blogs, as chapters in a book. If you're interested in doing that, you have a podcast already, you want to make sure that you have a guest release form, because if you don't have the guest release form, you can't use what the guests are saying other than just the podcast, right?
Okay.
And even then, you never know what can happen. So I always say, make sure you have a good guest release form for that so that you can repurpose that content. Now, being a guest on a podcast it's beautiful. I recommend it to especially my clients that have a fun, interesting personality, but are also really good at what they do. So we will market them, or we'll pitch to certain podcast shows that we know their audience is going to be there. And again, it's great because you're searchable. Your name is going to be on the title, hopefully. If not, it's in the show notes. And I always say another way to show your expert authority is to show how many podcasts you've been a guest on. And you could do this simply. You don't have to sit there and list them all on your website, because I've got close to like 50 of them. So what I do is I create a Spotify playlist. And my Spotify playlist it says Christine Blosdale's podcast appearances. And so if somebody wanted to Jones for, 50 hours, whatever, they could. But all of the podcast appearances that I've been on are listed in that playlist. So again, it just reiterates that you're an expert authority and people want to have you on their show. Podcast guesting. Also, you can go with an agency. You can do it yourself, where you find certain shows that you resonate with that you want to be a guest on. But I work with my clients on getting them booked on shows through a much cheaper way. And it's targeted. It's using AI as well. And so I can help them get booked on shows that their audiences are actually there. Their audiences are really there. So we work with that as well. I love both. I love being a podcast host, but I also like being a guest.
Yeah, I mean, you're totally correct on that too. I've been a guest on a few shows. I actually got a big interview coming up next week on Get Authentic with Marcus Ogden. Now, I had him on my podcast a couple months ago. Former football player. Him and his brother played football. And he liked being on my show enough that he invited me to come on his show, And the difference is, just like me personally, I talk anyway, whether you're on my show or I'm on your show, you know what I'm saying? I like to talk, especially if we got a vibe going. But when you sitting on the other side and people asking you questions and you can just go in and just talk about how you feel. One thing I learned about podcasting is people like to talk. And people like to talk about themselves. They like to talk about what they, what they done. My podcast, Brick by Brick, stories from success, whatever. You've been here, Christine, and built her platform from the ground up, And so that's the fun part of it. And so to be able to share that, because people can see you where you are now, in Australia, having a good time, got your feet kicked up, got a major podcast, 5, not one, but 5 best-selling books. And, programs, masterclass, all these things, but they don't know what it took for you to get there. And so for you to be able to come on my podcast and other podcast shows, you say you got over 50, it's just exciting. Saying like, wow, because I did one not too long ago where they wanted to know, like, how did I grow my podcast into a global podcast? And I'm like, man, shoot, I want to know that too. But, you know what I'm saying? That's a question. I like that. But to be able to just get on there and just talk about what you've done to get to the point that you at, man, it make you feel good when you get out like, ooh, that was a good one. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you can start telling people some stuff. They're like, I never looked at it like that. Like I was talking to a guy not too long earlier today. And, he talking about science and stuff. I'm like, I never, you know what I'm saying? I didn't see it like that, but we can relate though, I know my lane. Yeah. I know when to be quiet. Yeah. I know when I can talk. If you talking about something I don't know what the heck you talking about, I'm going to let you talk. Then we're going to move to the next question. It's levels to this thing. You know
I know my lane. I know my lane.
I know my lane. You know, I'm not finna try to tell a doctor on being a doctor. I ain't no doctor. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Exactly.
I know my lane.
Exactly.
What you say, Doc? So, Christine, hey, I really appreciate you coming on. Just let me ask you one more question. First, where can we find your books? Where can we find you on social media? Where can we find Christine at?
The main place to get all info about me is the website, and that's expertauthoritycoach.com. expertauthoritycoach.com. That's the best way. And if you or your audience would like to have a free Expert Authority mini session, it's about 30 minutes max. We talk, I find out about your business, all that good stuff. You can go direct. You can book it now by just going to chatwithchristineb.com. And that's my booking page. So you can book that free session with me, and I learn a little bit about you, and then hopefully help you, guide you in a way that you feel really empowered and confident in. That's the thing. Confidence is sexy, right? Authenticity is sexy. We need to step into our power right now, because again, there's a lot of healers out there. There's a lot of speakers out there. There's a lot of people that we need to step up and get to know and share their message with the world. So I'd be happy and honored to help people in any way.
Yeah. So I will put that in the show notes. I think I do got your booking page information. I think that's how we had to book this podcast, because my schedule was full. So, but I'm glad we got it. I'm glad we got it together. I think I had to cancel the last one. I think Sunday. I got sick. I was sick. And I know being sick, I just want to be myself. You know what I'm saying? I want to come on and be myself. So, sometimes, like this morning, I had a guy I probably did an interview with. I was looking forward to it too, because somebody built something brick by brick. He didn't show up. When I first started, they used to frustrate me. I'll get all mad, bent out of shape. But, things happen. It is what it is. We can reschedule or whatnot. Do it another day, and life goes on. So let me ask you, Christine, this is my last question. I really enjoyed you being on here. With AI changing the landscape, as we've been talking about with this chat GPT, changing the landscape fast, where do you see personal branding heading over the next 5 years or so?
I think that the most important thing is that we keep our humanity, right? Because in a world of AI, and where you don't even know, sometimes, like, you're looking at video and you're like, I didn't know Obama was skiing down, the slopes with Elvis. You know what I mean? Like, we're seeing things that we're like, I don't know if that's real or not. I think that really clinging on to our authenticity is really important, and showing up on those platforms where our people are, right? AI can do a lot of amazing things, but we need to use it as a tool. And just like we use fire to cook food and to feed people, we don't want to necessarily use that fire to burn it all down. So the same thing with AI, we want to use it for really good purposes. And we realize that we can never replace the human experience. Those memories and emotions and things like that we have, those are unique to us. And so we want to make sure that we stay connected to each other. I do believe that in this world, we're here for a reason, and our gifts are there to help others. And I think that if we stick to that, use AI as a tool, but don't allow it to replace us, then I think we'll be all right. We'll be good.
I like that, because I don't know if you heard this. I read an article not too long ago in Hollywood, matter of fact, that they built this AI character where they got agents wanting to sign her to movie deals.
AI actress.
Yeah, and some of the people in Hollywood kind of mad about it, because, like you say, to replace us. This is all I have to say, Christine, on that note. They can make an AI image of CJ and try to get him to be CJ, but he will not be me. You know what I'm saying? He just wouldn't have the characteristics all the way down. He might be good. It might look good, but he won't be you. So stay yourself. So, Christine, before we get out of here, leave us with one thing that's on your heart that you would like to share with the audience before we leave.
Oh, if you've gotten anything out of this conversation, if you've been inspired to actually do something, to actually go after your dreams, to start your business, to change your brand up, whatever, do it. Don't let it be something you put on the shelf. One day I'm going to do that. One day I'm going to write that book. One day I'm going to have that podcast. One day I'm going to do this, that. Don't do that, because one day won't come. It just happens that way. We get busy, right? So set aside some time, even if it's just one day where you start playing with ChatGPT, or you start get a new book by CJ that he's going to be doing on podcasting, right? And just start somewhere. It's so true. That "just do it" slogan from Nike is absolutely true. You need to do it. All the dreaming in the world is great, but if you don't put it into action, it doesn't happen. So we're here, both CJ and myself are here to encourage you to go after it and do it. And don't worry about failing. There's no such thing as failure. You just learn to do things differently, right? So please make sure that you go after those passions and your dreams.
Hey, go after your passions and dreams. Those that don't, out of 99%. Those that do, out of 1%. Start getting in that 1% mind frame. Hey, Christine, thank you for breaking down the playbook for building our authority and showing us how being authentic can truly open doors. For our listeners, you can connect with Christine at expertauthoritycoach.com. Grab her best-selling book, one of her best-selling books, The Social Media and Branding Survival Guide, and take her Expert Authority Scorecard quiz. Oh, I want to do that. All links will be in the show note. This has been the CJ Moneyway Show, powered by Believe Network. Remember, your brand is built brick by brick through action, consistency, and truth. Keep showing up, keep shining, and keep building your legacy the money way. Hey, until next time, this your boy CJ Moneyway with my girl CB. We out of here. Peace.
Peace.
Before you go, let me leave you with this. Every story shared here is a reminder that your story matters too. Keep your faith sharp, keep your focus steady, keep your vision clear. And if this episode gave you wisdom, hope, or a push forward, share it with somebody you love. Tap in with me on all platforms, Edge Moneyway, and stay locked into the movement, because God's not done writing your chapter. This is the CJ Moneyway Show. Brick by brick, and always Moneyway.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.